All right, well, this is the Juneau Rotary Club on April 29th, 2021. And we're pleased to have as our speaker today, Liz Perry from Travel Juneau to give us an update on what we can look forward to with tourism, as much as we know at this point. So Liz, I'll turn it over to you and you can share your screen if you'd like to.
There we go. Hope everyone, let's see, get unmuted here.
We can hear you. We can see the screen.
Great. All right then. Thank you. It is pretty early. Had a late night with AFC last night. So thank you very much for the invitation to join you this morning and tell you a little bit about Travel Juneau. What I'd like to do is give you basically a Travel Juneau 101. And I noticed in your attendee list that there are several of you, including Amy, who is one of our longtime volunteers at our visitor center. So again, thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit about what we do. If I get my screen to go here. Pardon me. There we go. A couple of terms that you're going to probably hear and see during the course of the presentation is this term FIT or FIT. And this is an industry term for our visitors who arrive fully independent. In other words, they are coming in by ferry, they're coming in by plane, other ways. And we also include in this group our small ship visitors, because typically they will spend a night or so at their turnaround point. And because they are doing that, taking advantage, better advantage of our offerings, our hotels, restaurants, we consider them part of this FIT group as well. FAM is a familiarity tour, and this is something that we do for tour operators, for agents, for media, to just familiarize them with the town. For meeting planners, we will also take them on hotel site visits, get them around to the meeting facilities that they are interested in, and again, familiarize them with everything, or most of the things that Juneau has to offer. This is our mission, and you'll see in it that we worked this over a couple of years ago, and we wanted to be really pointed in the way we are directing our work. So you'll see that we focus all of our attention to conventions, to groups of people that are traveling, independently. These are reunions. These are maybe affinity groups that like to travel around, and of course to our independent travelers. We are known as a destination marketing organization, or a DMO. And what we do is take a look at Juneau as a whole, and we promote that and try to get people inspired to come to Juneau. So that's our primary role. We are looking at the entire destination when we do our marketing. Typically, this is how we have been funded in the past. Historically, over the last maybe 30 years or so, there was a 5 and then an extra 2% hotel bed tax instituted by ordinance. And typically Travel Juneau, then the Juneau Convention and Visitors Bureau, received 4/7 of that hotel bed tax. You may remember that there is an additional 2% hotel bed tax that was instituted a couple of years ago to help pay for renovations for Centennial Hall. The other 3% goes to Centennial Hall for its operations, and this is all done through the manager's office and through finance. We also typically have had passenger fee grants from the city to support our visitor services department and to support the crossing guard program in typical years. Then through our partners, through ads that we sell on our website, through our official visitor guide and other opportunities, we have some ticketed events. We make some additional revenue that is part of our earned income. One of the things that I'll refer to a little later on is that we did bring our print guide in-house a couple of years ago, and that gave us a lot greater control over what that looks like and the ads inside that publication. We have 5 departments inside the organization. Here they are. I fall under admin. I kind of corral the cats. I write the checks, keep track of everybody's budget. We all work very collaboratively, and while you see 5 departments here, I can tell you that we work really hard to break silos down. There are a lot of things happening, during the course of the year. During a typical year, we'll hold a number of events, for example. We're a small crew. We have 7 employees here and a part-time bookkeeper. And because of the work we do, we have to reach across these department lines all the time. We rely on each other. We need each other's perspectives. And as a staff, we get together once a week just to make sure that we have a full understanding of all of the work that the other departments are doing. Here, and I would take these kind of one at a time, and you can see this is a very, abbreviated list of the work that the destination marketing department does. And their job is to inspire travel, to get people thinking about Juneau, to get people to visit the website, keep Juneau out in front of the traveling public. As destinations are now reopening and really inviting visitors in, you may have seen that Spain is getting ready to open up for fully vaccinated travelers throughout Europe. A lot of these destinations are going to see a lot of pent-up demand. Alaska is no different from that. Alaska is still high on the list for a lot of people. But when we're marketing a particular destination, we have to stay out in front of the public constantly because we know that it will take folks a couple of years to make that big decision. Juneau's a long haul destination, so it takes commitment on the part of our independent travelers. So we want to make sure that they're staying inspired, that we're getting them the information that they need. So you can see a little bit of what this department does. We do a lot on social media now, and we are shifting a lot of our paid advertising from print to digital. Whenever we're looking at an ad placement, we want to make sure that there's a digital component because we can track that. Magazines are great, and I like having an occasional magazine in my house just to refer to, and that's part of what our visitor guide does. Is it's kind of a coffee table book that people can refer to, but it's not trackable. So we have shifted to a lot more digital and social media that we can track back to the website. One of the things that we do is put out a quarterly newsletter to media and to our consumers that have signed up for it. And this particular article is the result of that, a direct result. Jennifer Nelwicki actually called our office, talked to Kara Tetley here in the office, after having received Kara's quarterly newsletter in which she announced that Alaska Heritage Institute was working on a new arts campus. Jennifer picked that up, talked to Kara briefly, and then pitched this story idea to her editor, who put her on it immediately. And the result was that an article about SHI and about the efforts to develop Juneau as an arts destination, for especially Northwest Coast art, for example, made it into Smithsonian just this last December, and that was a direct result. And this is just one piece of the work and the results that we see. This is another piece, and I popped this one up because we sponsored this video through Alaska in Motion. Many of you probably know Bo Silty or have worked with him. Bo, kind of on his own, did this beautiful video of Juneau's hidden beaches, and we helped him sponsor it. We helped him roll it out, and he was actually on another assignment. We did another series on our craft breweries. He was in Barnaby Brewing doing another video. A couple walked in from Kansas, had seen the Hidden Beaches video, decided that this is where they wanted to spend their summer. So they arrived in late July of last year, spent almost 2 full weeks in Juneau, and did all the things. They had a B&B, they rented a car, they went whale watching, they went fishing, they went hiking, they took advantage of all manner of excursions, and really enjoyed Juneau as an entire destination. I picked this particular still because what Bo is holding here is an air quality monitor. And one of the pitches that he kind of makes in here is that if you are in an area that, is choked up with wildfire smoke, come up and visit Juneau. We've got lots of fresh air. It's cool. You can come up, relax. So that again was kind of a nice story about the impact that video has on people's destination choices. Here's some trends that we're seeing. We know that visitors, as they are researching destinations, are looking for destinations that have handled the pandemic well, that have protocols in place, that they are looking for operators and facilities that are also keeping things clean and are willing to maybe even post their mitigation plans. We're also seeing multi-family and multi-generational travel, and that people want to do things. They don't want to necessarily buy a lot of stuff. And this is part and parcel with what Juneau has to offer. Juneau has a lot of experiences that people can photograph, they can take back and tell all their friends about. And again, we know that folks are looking for wide open spaces. There is a lot of demand right now for national parks, picnic areas, camping. A lot of folks are looking at road trips, and one of our top pages on our website that gets used is how to use the ferry. So I think this points to the fact that we really need to focus on the ferry system, because it's going to be a lost opportunity for FIT and for some groups. Here's a little video or piece that I've got here for just to show you about confidence in traveling safely. This was posted by a destination analyst and was available on the US travel site. And you can see right in here that confidence is going up. This is the blue line, and the lack of confidence, this gray line, is dropping. So this is a really terrific trend. As vaccines become more widely available, people are really gaining confidence to actually get on a plane, go someplace. And I think about 88% of the people that were surveyed recently have made travel plans for the next 6 months or so. So this is openness to travel inspiration. This is what Travel Juneau does through our visitor guide, our website, our outreach, and other advertising that we do. We inspire travel, and this gauges through the same organization that people are really wanting to learn more about destinations. They want to get those travel plans done because like all of us, they want to get out and really kind of stretch their legs again. These are activities that folks are looking for. I alluded to this a little bit earlier. Just getting out and getting into a restaurant is a big thing. But I would point your attention to these lines too: relaxing at an ocean, lake, or a river, visiting a national park, outdoor adventures, bicycle rides, amusement parks, theme parks are kind of meh, but as you go through and the more inside and more packed a destination is, the less confidence they have in that. So this is where Juneau shines in spades, and this is all part of our marketing strategy to really introduce Juneau and show how wide open we are, and all the fabulous outdoor and some indoor activities that they can take part in. Another strategy that we use, another department, is our convention sales piece. We have a fairly robust convention schedule in normal years. We are just now getting kind of our legs back after the pandemic. As you know, Centennial Hall has been closed for a long time now. And they are getting ready to get it back reopened and kind of start sprucing it up a little bit in anticipation of using it later this summer. We have at least one convention that's going to come in. Alaska Broadcasters Association will be here in November. That is our first Travel Juneau win for 21. So we have a couple of other smaller ones in the pipeline, and depending on how everything rolls out, we may have two or three other meetings here in the fall. As soon as we can get the convention hall opened up, And we have, pretty good confidence with the hotels and so forth. So you can see that these are, some of the things that we look for, and some of the things that we do for planners. We look primarily for new and returning business as much as possible, but we also participate in trade shows to get folks to come in. We do ad placements and campaigns, and we also provide a suite of services to planners. If you haven't planned a meeting before, if you've been assigned this project, we're here to help walk you through that process. So we provide a number of services to help planners get their Juneau meeting off the ground. Here are some things that we're starting to see. In-person meetings are taking off. A lot of destinations are providing hybrid meetings. So you have an in-person component, and then it's maybe broadcast in some way at the same time. We also are seeing a lot more integration of technologies. And we are pretty confident that this idea of leisure travel is going to make a rebound too. This is where you attend a meeting, you bring your family along to experience the destination with you. So we always encourage that with our meeting partners, and try to make Juneau as attractive as we can for families to come up and experience this. Social responsibility, holding ourselves accountable, holding Centennial Hall accountable for trying to be a greener destination, a greener, just have a greener meeting. So we try to eliminate as much paper as possible, and getting on board with technology and having ways for people to experience and participate in that meeting that doesn't require a heavy lift on the environmental side. For 22, and this fiscal for 22, of course, will start in July, but we already have about 1.6 million in the on the books for 22, and we also have quite a bit of secured business and business in the pipeline through August of 24. So when Vicki Loken goes out, we have this whole series of things that we do. We send her out on sales missions, and she's finding a lot of success with smaller meetings. So what we're finding too with, for example, with Centennial Hall, is that people want a lot of breakout rooms, even if they have a smaller smaller meeting, say 200 people. They want to be able to fan them out over the facility. So this is good news for Juneau. There is increasing interest in Juneau as a meeting destination because it's off the beaten path, and people are ready to experience something brand new. We have a partnership services department that helps our business partners get their advertising lined up, and they bring partners into the fold for Travel Juneau. They provide, marketing. We provide marketing packages for them through our tier packaging scheme, and that is simply a way for them to package up their Travel Juneau partnership with those elements into a tier, and makes it easy for them to see and pay for. And it normally includes an ad purchase, for example, in our travel guide. We also host a number of networking events generally during the course of the year for partners, and sometimes for the general public. These are educational events, and they're also opportunities for partners to tell us about themselves. Ad guide, ad sales for the official visitor guide. We also monitor the TBMP hotline through partner services. Tourism Best Management Practices, as you know, is a group that monitors activity throughout town. And what we want to do is make sure that all of the TBMP operators, under that banner, are operating safely, as environmentally carefully as they can. They are being, basically good citizens. So if you're out on Egan, for example, and there is a bus that is taking up space in the left-hand lane, driving slowly so that you have to go around them on the right, you can call the TBMP hotline and say, hey, I saw, XYZ tours and they were driving 45 in the left-hand lane. And what TBMP does is get in touch with that operator and say, this is what happened. This is what the caller reported. This is the date and time it happened. Please talk to your operators. And we've been able to manage a lot of problems kind of out the gate through TBMP. Kirby Day has championed this and has led it very successfully over about 25 years. And it's an extremely successful program and has become a model for other destinations. So I'm happy to talk about TBMP more at a different time, but the hotline is run through Travel Juneau, and we get the word out so that people can address those issues when they come up. We also have a very active visitor information services department. We rely on about 150 volunteers to staff our visitor centers, give information to our visitors. And we really like to, we want to make sure that all of our visitors have personalized service, get a friendly face, when they visit one of our centers downtown at the airport, or even at the the ferry terminal when we are able to have staff out there. And we train those volunteers very, very carefully. That's part of what this department does. They handle the incoming calls from visitors who need information. They distribute materials. They create materials and make sure that all the visitor information centers are staffed and have all the materials that they need. Under normal circumstances, we have 4 visitor information centers that are staffed and fully stocked. Of course, with pandemic, we're kind of dipping our toes into this and opening up the cruise ship terminal in the next week or so. So these are some services that we have found. This again is from destination analysts through their surveys of guests and people who travel a lot. And what we are doing, and I wanted to point this out, actually the original slide from destination analysts is highlighting the things that we do in our visitor information centers, and we'll be doing this year when we open up. Staff will be in masks. We're going to have very clear signage. We're going to make sure people are kind of paced out, staying one from, kind of not staying close to each other. They're physically distanced. We will have, of course, hand sanitizer and all of those pieces out. And we do have, of course, a mask mandate here in Juneau. So we will make sure that anybody who walks into the center also is masked up. So these are things that fall right in line with our plans to reopen the CST this summer and help the visitors that are coming into town independently or in groups. Here's some fast, just some quick facts, that I wanted to put up with you that we're seeing right now. You can see that about 1 in 5 of our independent visitors first came to Juneau on a cruise. They get that 5 to 7 hour port stop. You kind of get a taste of the city, and we know that at least 1 in 5 will come back within a market cycle or less. So this is really good indication that Juneau is a terrific spot, not only for our cruise passengers, but Travel Juneau gets the benefit of those passengers coming back independently. So we want to make sure that they're having a good experience. So you're working kind of lightly, with the cruise lines, having those centers downtown to provide information, making sure that those passengers get information from the get-go and get a great experience will encourage them to come back as independents. And we've had people actually come in on a cruise and say, I'm going to bring a meeting here, and do. So we've had that happen periodically over the last several years as well. You can see the top 5 countries that are visiting our website. I've captured this information just a few days ago. People are aching to travel. So we're seeing, a lot of, wide ranging interest from people who are really wanting to get into the US. And the top 5 states, of course, Alaska, we get a lot of people who come down and just, spend some time just from here in the state. And Illinois, California, Washington, and Texas are areas where we're actually devoting some time to and effort to our outside marketing. So those are 5 people from those states are visiting our site, and that is an intent to visit. So that's really good news. Interestingly, one of the top pages on our website that gets a lot of traffic is the how to travel by ferry. So I think this is a really good opportunity for us to, talk to our legislators and talk about the importance of the ferry system, not only to our public, our fellow Alaskans, but people who want to get on the ferry, say in Bellingham, or on the ferry in Skagway, and travel down. So it's a huge opportunity for Juneau and Southeast Alaska to make sure that the ferry system is stable, up and running, and that we eventually get our borders open again. Here's some site activity that we have seen, and this runs through the 24th of April. And this just kind of gives you an indication of, again, intent to travel and interest and some of the things that we're doing. We had a spike when we had our solstice sale, and that is the spike here in June of last year. We had a lot of traffic to the site. We had an opportunity for locals to take advantage of sales here for excursions, retail, and any one of a number of things. We're going to do that again this year. This other spike, interestingly, is related to our Juneau Cares. And people wanted to see what Juneau was doing, and in terms of getting ready for visitors. And this is that site that happened in late December, first part of January. People came to the site for visitor information. They came to the site for other pieces of information, and it drove a lot of traffic. And you can see that we're now on an upward trend of people visiting the site, and that again is an intent to visit the destination. Some challenges, obviously, we're, like everyone, we're recovering from the pandemic. We're trying to meet information needs that travelers have. They've got a lot of questions about masking mandates. They have a lot of questions about, visiting Juneau as opposed to, visiting somewhere else in Alaska. So we are starting to see a lot more phone traffic and web traffic from that. We do have some market changes that are happening as people start to get on the road again, start to make their travel plans. We have to make sure that our social media platforms are up to snuff, and that people can see that Juneau is ready for visitation. Another piece, and I just alluded to this, a challenge is the lack of consistent funding for the ferry system. We get calls every day, and you can see with the traffic to the website that people are very interested in coming up on the ferry. They want to do a big long road trip. Getting through Canada is problematic, but also the ferry schedule is problematic. So, as Southeast Alaskans, we understand the need for our ferry system, but I think it points to another opportunity that the system has, and that's in terms of our summer visitation. Just internally, organizationally, we want to make sure that everyone understands Travel Juneau's work, that we work with, FIT, we provide FAMs, we provide a number of services, and that we benefit the local economy. You may know that the industry itself provides about 20% of the city's sales tax during a regular year. Our job is to keep our hotels full, to make sure that restaurants are well represented, our retailers are represented, and our meeting facilities are well represented. So those pieces are Travel Juneau's focus. And we believe that, over the next, especially this summer, and my opinion is over the next several summers, FIT, our independent travelers, are going to be crucial to the visitor economy this, over the next probably market cycle. It's kind of, we have kind of a running joke between myself and a couple of my board members. I'm of the opinion that cruise traffic is not going to return to anything like we've seen probably for a market cycle. They're putting in, putting in all sorts of guidelines and mitigations and protocols that will probably keep them running at maybe 60%, I'm thinking, for the next couple to 3 years. So it's self-limiting at this point. And our focus again is on FIT, and we want to make sure that those travelers have as much information and as much opportunity as possible to enjoy Juneau. And with that, I am happy to take some questions.
Great, thank you, Liz. I just have a few comments and questions. This is Amy, and as you mentioned, I've been a volunteer for a number of years. I've really enjoyed that experience, and I'd encourage other people to consider doing that. It's fun to interact with the visitors and be of service, here in Juneau. I had an experience just the other day where, just out of the blue, we got a contact from my husband's brother, and he said, I think I'm finally ready to come up and visit you. And we've been trying to get him to come up and visit for literally decades. So group of 5, we had some extra companion passes, some mileage. We put it together for them. And within hours, they were booked to come visit us, a group of 5 in July. So that's pretty exciting. It was sort of head spinning, but maybe that's sort of the pace that things are going to be happening here with travel picking back up, I'm guessing. So, and I also want to commend your website. It's excellent. Whenever someone has an interest in Juneau, I say, check out this website because they can get a lot of great information on, great pictures and what kind of things there are available here in Juneau, just to kind of get them started and excited about visiting. So thank you for that. Now, I just wanted to ask about the activities that are going to be happening here in Juneau, both things to do and retail and restaurants. I have the impression that some things aren't going to happen at all, like maybe the Taku Glacier Lodge is not going to operate. Dog mushing on the glacier, I think, is out for this year. But maybe you could run that down a little bit, activities and retail, just kind of what you think is going to happen as compared to a normal year from what we know so far.
Oh, thank you, Amy, and thank you about your tips and comments about the website. Right now, we know. I want to couch this because I want to be a little careful and as transparent as possible as well. Our anecdotal information is that hotels are starting to book up. Smaller properties are booking faster than the larger properties are. But we are seeing a good deal of activity to the point that folks are actually having difficulty finding lodging during a weekend. So if they want to come up for a long weekend, that's already becoming a little problematic. So that's good in a sense, because it's an indication that people are starting to book. They're looking at Juneau, and there is pent-up demand. So in terms of what's going to be open, we actually have a section of our website as part of the Juneau Cares website, which was developed through a grant from CBJ. And we have all of our protocols, mitigation plans there. We have the group of businesses that are following kind of the five things that they're going to create a plan, post it, implement it, update it as necessary. So that list is on there. But we also have who's open right now. So if you go to the website, you'll see. I think probably I believe it's on the homepage. There's a block with an image on it, and it says "Waking Up in Juneau Today." So you can go on and see what's open, who's running today. Then that is constantly updated as we get partners who call us and say, "Hey, I'm opening up on such and such a date." So you are correct, Amy, that for example, Taku Glacier Lodge will not be operating. A lot of our partners, and you want to remember that 90 to 95% of the businesses here are locally owned, operated by Juneauites. Our businesses are by and large not operated by a company that comes in and then moves their inventory south at the end of the season. Yes, there are some stores downtown on Franklin that do that, but if you spend time downtown, you'll see lots and lots of locally owned shops. and many of our excursions, because of their size, and I would say that Wings Taku Glacier Lodge is one of those, depends on a certain percentage of cruise traffic to make themselves operational. So if you keep track of the what's open site, section of our site, that will tell you who is open or who's planning to open, and we are updating that almost on a daily basis. Some of our larger operators simply can't operate because they either are booked on the lines and there are no lines, and other operators again depend on a healthy mix of cruise passengers and FIT. So I think that is something to watch, and we're monitoring that on a daily basis. I hope that answered your question.
Liz, I have a question from Annette. Just a second.
Hello, and thank you for your presentation. The question I have, I was interested in one of your facts that said 1 in 5 of your independent travelers have come up on a cruise ship. So I'm curious how you think this petition that's going around to reduce and severely restrict cruise traffic is going to affect you and what you do. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that question. Yes, and McDowell Group, now McKinley Group, gave us that statistic. What the cruise lines do for us is provide kind of a taste of a destination for a lot of folks. It's a relatively inexpensive trip for a family of 4 or even a couple to do a cruise. Juneau is an expensive destination, but what we also need to remember about cruises is that they have all level of economic impact. They, the average cruise passenger will spend about $168 per trip per person. And we know that our FIT, they spend closer to $700, and that includes their lodging, excursions if they've rented a car, and so forth. And McDowell Group has worked on those numbers for a number of years as well. If we have a big reduction in the number of cruise passengers that come into town, that will affect the number of FIT coming into town, because we know that they get their first taste of Juneau on a cruise, about 20 to 25% of them, and then come back generally inside of a market cycle, which is 5 to 7 years, for a longer stay. And they're coming independently. Sometimes they're staying with family, but most of the time they're coming in and staying at a hotel, motel, B&B, and again, taking advantage of excursions and other things that they may not have had time to do during a typical port call. So that initial, taste of Juneau, if you will, encourages them to come back independently, bring family, and spend more time and spend more money here. So if we lose a large number of those cruise passengers, then we're losing a market of people.
Doug?
All right. Yeah, we have one more time for one more question. Rosemary?
Yeah, Doug. I just wanted to say thanks for your presentation this morning. And I just wanted to add another element of what Travel Juneau does with your interface with the Alaska Committee, and working with us to, do the better capital city enhancement, the work that we do, outreach from Juneau, going to the fairs in Palmer and Fairbanks, and just your general contribution, which I think is tremendous. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Rosemary.
Also, you work on legislative housing too, don't you? From
Yes,
time to time. Yeah,
we
yeah.
We've been asked to do that.
Big deal. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.
Hey, Doug,
Now
Milo's had his hand raised for about 5 minutes. Do we have time to see what he
Sure, Milo.
Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, I was just, you talked a little bit about locals. I'm wondering particularly this year about, I've been in Juneau quite a while, and I'm not all that familiar with the tourist activities that are out there, and people have families visiting, and we're always looking for activities for them to do. How much do you market or try to connect locals to the tourism industry?
Oh, that's a great question. We do that all the time. We have locals come in, they'll get our walking maps. They've got, and the lucky, of course, the lucky local has multiple people coming in during the year. I've had that happen occasionally myself. But we provide maps, we provide visitor guides. We're happy to walk them through the different excursions that they may be interested in and make referrals for them. We take calls from locals all the time. And, this is the year to get friends and family coming up here. I know several of you had mentioned that. I've got family coming up this summer, and we're a great resource. If you find something on the website, need more detail, give us a call. We're happy to help.
All right. Liz, thank you very much for coming this morning. I love to see Juneau open up and get some tourists here.